in Philadelphia. Anyway, we only have the 15 minutes. The commissioner and these two teams, I thank you very much for the time. Philly would love it. And what can I say about Philly? I can't remember the first time I met Philly. It had to be way back in the 80s when Contact first formed. And I thought his first name was Phil. For the longest time, and then I found out, no, he was actually from Philadelphia, but he obviously loved New York, and he loved this field. And when Gina called me to tell me that he had passed, she said that one of his last wishes was to be remembered on this field and to have a little bit of himself sprinkled over here, which we will do afterwards. He was a good friend. He was a loyal teammate. When I was a player and he was here, I was a better player. I knew he was watching, and if I didn't hit behind the runner, if I didn't have a productive out, I would look over and see him just turn his head down like that. When I was managing, I would go to Phil and find out if I had made the right decision, the lineup, who was playing where, who was going to pitch the first game, if I was going to take a pitcher out, if I was going to walk somebody. And I'd look over at Philly, and if he said yes, I knew I'd made the right move. And if he disagreed with me, he'd say, well, you're the manager, you're getting paid the big bucks, you make the decision. And I knew that I had made the wrong decision, and I would rethink my position. But I miss him a lot. And I know a lot of you want to say a few words. Jack Oppenheim was one of his closest friends here. We'll start with the youngest guy, Jack Oppenheim, and have him say a couple of words.
In mid-August for the last 7 years, Joe would come up from Philadelphia and stay with me through the end of the playoffs down at Heckscher. At Heckscher, he renewed old friendships, kept score for his favorite teams, sounded off from the bench, and added a special flavor to the on-field drama. It was a happy time for Joe. So many friends, so many memories revisited. It was a happy time for me too. Joe was good company, and we formed a caring friendship. And if Joe was your friend, you had a very, very loyal friend. I miss you, Joe. Rest in peace.
Joe was a great friend, and I think he was involved with Contact partly because of the red shirts. This was an old Bubba shirt from one of the other teams, because his beloved Phillies always also came so dear to his heart. He'd always be sitting on the top bench, waiting for people to show up for the team. He was always so helpful. When the guys started getting married, having kids, he was there for all the families, always helped out, taking care of the kids when the dads were up at bat, watching Willie. Loved Willie the dog. And was just a real Central Park character. I mean, it was almost like he was from another era. Damon Runyon-esque kind of guy. He'd play cards with the guys. Somehow they always managed on Tuesdays to find the picnic table available. They used to sit there before they changed the fields around. You could have a better access when they didn't have the fences. And he was there with everybody, just really being helpful. And I mean, I think that when he would come to New York, it was just everybody was looking forward to it. We know he really didn't want to leave, but he really couldn't find work because he was the kind of, when he bartended, it was really more of the old saloon kind of places. Now that the bars want the women with the sexy outfits and the tank tops, there wasn't a place for him. And it was wonderful. He always talked about his family, his nieces and nephews and people down, you know, that he could stay with. And although he didn't want to go, I think it was the best thing. And I'm so sorry to hear when he passed, and I know he died in his sleep, but I think that's what also he did for his family. He didn't want to cause any problems, and he just went peacefully and knew that we all, you know, missed him and loved him.
Thanks so much. Lee,
I was blaming that female back. I'll say a few things.
By the way, he did well when he wore those sexy outfits behind the bar. Yeah. He actually did very, very well.
Good tips.
I got a couple memories of Joe. He had a familiar spot at the top of the stands where he kept score. And he didn't talk as much as the rest of us, but when he said something, it was either really funny or really smart. And now I'm reminiscing, just looking at his, you know, his glasses, his hat. He had a great poker face. I couldn't tell if it was smart or funny, and I have to look around and see his smile like come out through his mustache. And also, he got so good at keeping score, and he was so trusted that The other teams never bet out of lineup and got away with it. He was on it, and he would tell them where they were batting, and the players would listen to go, okay, Joe, that's how we're batting. The umpires will go along with it. So thank you, Joe, for all the years you shared with us, and we will remember you very, very well here. Thank you.